Hello and welcome back to BreImagine. So I have been stockpiling all kinds of projects this summer, and now that the air is finally turning cooler, I can finally share them with you. So the first one I want to share is updating the exterior of our house. So our house was brick and it's made in 1948 and it's kind of crumbling and falling apart, and we've gotten to the point now where we actually need to get that repaired. It's not something we can do ourselves, so we are having a mason come and do it, but we are on schedule. But in the meantime, we want to go ahead and do some things that we can do ourselves. So the first thing that we wanted to do was update the front door of our house. So the front door is always kind of unused. We have a second entrance where it welcomes to our family room, and we really didn't want guests to see that anyways because it was so outdated. So the front door itself was one of my favorite original details about our home, but as you can see, the paint is chipping and the storm door is old and it needs to be replaced. Plus it wasn't watertight anymore and it was causing damage to the antique front door. So a brand new high quality storm door starts around $300, so I first turned to Facebook Marketplace, as I always do, and I found a brand new one with stickers for $100. As you can see here, the wood on the door frame was just broken, and some places it was even rotten, so it all needed replaced. We were so excited to get the old ugly door out of there, but actually when we started to take everything off, we found a very unexpected and very unpleasant surprise. Carpenter ants just started pouring out of the old rotten door frame. So we had to wait for them to all leave, and then we sprayed really good with some bug spray before we moved on. So here's what we were left with, and I went ahead and took it all off and I brought it into Lowe's to see if they could match it, and they didn't have anything even close to it because it's so old. Then my dad recommended that we go to a specialty lumber store, and lo and behold, they had the exact trim that we needed. And then they also gave me this piece here that I needed to trim down to size. It was a perfect match and it looked great. Now it's time to nail it down and then caulk it and paint it. Using a brad nailer was a perfect choice because it left such a small hole it was really easy to fill. Then it was time to put on the storm door, which I was so excited about, but I actually had to reverse it because it swang in the wrong direction. So I'm not going to give you a step-by-step of that, but I can link a video below of how I did that. And then we also had to reverse the handle too, as well as then drill a new hole in the side so it could latch. Then I went through and I filled all the holes and started on the door. So I've touched out the paint on this door several times over the past few years, but it was really cracked and peeling this time and needed some extra TLC. And the vintage brass door knocker had another family's name etched on it, so I wanted to fix that too. So the first thing I did was give it a really good sanding to see what needed patched first. My daughter wanted to help me with that. So then I got some spackling, and it's just kind of the regular drywall spackling, and you just smooth that out as if you were patching drywall. The reason I did this is because if you just went ahead and put paint on it, it would have showed through the texture of the chipping and the divots and that kind of thing. This just really smooths it over and gives it a nice finish. Another reason why I took the extra time to do this is because I'm going to paint the door black, and dark paint colors really accentuate imperfections, so I just really wanted it to look as smooth as possible. And I didn't know how I was going to be able to get the paint off the arched parts of the door glass, so I just went ahead and taped it just to make my life easier. One of my favorite painting hacks I've learned is to use an artist brush for the detailed areas. That way you can get in super tight and it's going to look perfect when you're done. I feel like anybody can throw paint on a door, but it takes time and effort to make it look really nice and sharp. This was a new hack for me. I saw on TikTok where you can wrap your paintbrush in foil between coats. That way you don't have to rinse your brush out, and it worked. Another one I tried is putting a piece of duct tape across the top of your paint can. Then when you dip your paintbrush, you can use the edge of the tape to kind of wipe off the excess, and it keeps the rim of your paint can clean. That way when you put the lid on, it won't get stuck. For the interior door as well as the exterior work here, I used outdoor paint, so it should last a lot longer. The previous person who painted this obviously was not a perfectionist, and I've tried so hard to get that paint off the brick using wire brushes, cleaners, but I can't figure it out. If you have any suggestions, feel free to comment below because I'd love to get that cleaned off. And here's one last look of the door before, and this is after. I wanted to keep the original brass knockers, so I just got a fine grit sandpaper and I just sanded off the engraving. Oh my goodness, I know that's not a mind-blowing project, but the fact that we lived with it so long, it just felt so good to finally get it done. And now we can welcome guests at whatever door they choose. Also, I love how the black just makes it so fresh and modern, and it really pops with my fall decorations. So tune in next time where I'll share how I updated the shutters of our house in less than 24 hours, and it completely just gave a refresh to the front of our home. So I'll see you next time. Bye.